this table where we laughed and talked all day. So long ago, love was offered. The joy of being together made you want to stay. Take me back.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Life with Nana. I'm Nana, and I'm so glad you're here today. We are still working on Crocktober, and today in the crock pot, we are going to be making a Mississippi roast. This is super simple. I went ahead and got out my 2 small beef roasts that I had, and because I forgot to lay them out, y'all know how Nana is, I went ahead and just defrosted them in the microwave for a while. And so this is a super easy roast to make. I have a packet of ranch dressing. I'll put that in here. And then I have a packet of Anjou gravy. I don't know if I said that right. We're going to use some of these peppers. Now I had a few canned ones of my own, not this particular kind, but these have been sitting on my shelf for a while, so I'm going to use a couple of those. What are these? Pepperoncinis, I think is how you say that. Again, I'm putting 3. They smell good. And then I'm going to put a 1/2 cup of butter. And that's going to make this very rich and very decadent and very good. Okay, so that's simple enough. So I'm going to get this back over here where I can get it plugged back in. And because I want this done after lunch, I'm going to cook it on high. And I'm hoping in about 4 hours that'll be done. I also have everything out. I'm going to put some bread in the bread machine, but I want to wait about doing that for just a little while. Really, I want to wait until I'm about to leave to go to church. I'm going to mix that up and get that put in there. That way, by the time I get back, it will have risen the 90 minutes that it needs to do that. And when I get home, I can just make rolls and we'll have that done. The other thing I want to get done this morning is some chocolate pudding, and I'm going to get that made and put in the refrigerator. Typically, I try not to have a lot going on Sunday mornings and let it be just an easy day, which it should be, I guess. And but this morning I decided, kind of a spur of the moment, that I would get a few things prepared. Now you've seen me do the bread and you've seen me do the chocolate pudding, so I'm not going to show that on video today. But when we come back, I'll show you how I form the rolls and getting those cooked and pulling this meal together for a nice Sunday dinner. All right, everybody, we're back from church. We had a great service. The first thing I want to do is to get these pinto beans into my pan so that I can get those on the stove and get those heating up. All right. The next thing we're going to do is to get our bread out of the bread machine. Now I use my bread machine basically just to make the dough. You can go ahead and use the bread function and make a loaf of bread if you want to, but I almost always use it as just to knead the dough. That way, looks like it was rising in a nice place while we were gone. And I have got to get this cleaned up, so I'm going to set that over there for now. Now we have a nice piece of dough here, and I am just going to give it a little bit of a knead. And all I'm going to do is just kind of flatten it out, and I'm going to turn it in on itself. And we're going to lay them in our bowl. And we're just going to keep doing this, and then we're going to put these out on the back porch because it's warm here. It's probably the warmest place that I've got to put them. And we're going to be getting this meal together. I went ahead and added some potatoes and 1 onion. That's not what that recipe calls for, but I wanted some potatoes to have, and I'm going to get some of the juice out of this. I'm going to take that out of the I'm going to take the roast out of the crock pot, and I'm going to thicken up that juice, that good gravy that's in there. I haven't made rolls in a while, so I'm sure hoping that they turn out good, because they certainly do smell good. I'm just going to wrap these up and under there just like that. And that's going to be our dinner rolls. They need to rise about 30 minutes, and by the time I get everything else done, they should be risen enough that it'll only take them just a little while to cook in the oven. I absolutely love my bread machine. This is, let me unplug it. This is what it looks like. And you can pick the dough function, which I use so many times. I really enjoy the fresh rolls. Now I'm going to get a towel and a piece of cheesecloth or a tea towel, whatever you have. And I'm going to set these in Again, outside because that's the warmest place that I have. So we're just going to scoop this over out of the way. We're going to get to work on our gravy. And I'm just taking the meat and the potatoes out of this. I'm going to put them back in here, but I want to make this gravy. Papa loves gravy, and it will be good on these potatoes. I'm going to take out the pepperoncinis, and I don't think anybody will want those. Get those out of the way. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is pour the juice from the crock pot into this fat separator. I'm going to let that sit for just a second. Okay. Now all I'm going to do to this is add some cornstarch and thicken it up and make a nice gravy. And when we get ready to plate this up, I'll bring you back. All right, so I have the roast cut up. The potatoes are done, well, really good and done. I have my rolls in the oven, and I have some pinto beans on the front eye, and I have some drippings from the roast on the back eye that I'm going to make gravy with. Right now I'm waiting for the rolls to finish, and so yeah, we're just kind of in a standstill mode, you know. I think that's how we get sometimes, right? And I also updated our sourdough starter. If you haven't been following along with that, that video will be coming out pretty soon. It's going to be a bonus video the week I do it, probably this week at some point. You'll see it. My niece has an Etsy shop, and it's called Noelle and Grace, and baking, I think is the name of it. I will put the contact information in the show notes or description box so that you can go to her Etsy shop, and if you want to start making sourdough bread, she has some sourdough starter in there. And so far it smells wonderful. Tomorrow actually we will probably either tomorrow or the next day we're going to make a loaf of sourdough bread for the first time, so that's exciting. And the more you feed it and the more you get it going, the better your starter will be. And it's sitting in your house, it changes. This was fascinating to me. It changes into a unique sourdough starter that comes from the yeast that's just naturally in your part of the world or your area, your house, all that. So it does become a unique sourdough starter to your home, which I found very, very fascinating. I love that. I love making sourdough bread. I love making bread in general. So we're going to give it a try and we're going to see how it does. So I wanted to ask all of you. I had a very nice, and I wish I had written her name down. I did not write her name down, but I will go back and put it in the in one of the comments. You'll see probably the first comment on this video. Who sent me this recipe? And I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun for the month of November to have each one of you send me a recipe that your family loves, that maybe is a tradition in your family. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a Thanksgiving type recipe, but it can be. Just something that makes you smile when you remember it. And this particular recipe that this lady sent me was tomato tortellini soup, and it looks really, really good, and so I want to try it. And I thought, well, that would be fun if we did the whole month of November. So I put out 2 videos a week, so I'm going to need 8 or 9 recipes. And preferably something that you remember from your childhood or you remember from your mom making or your aunt or your grandmother or whoever, that special person in your life that cooked for you when you were younger. In my case, it was my mom. And I will do one that was special to our family. And then we'll have all those on our channel. Wouldn't that be fun? Y'all also help me come up with a name for it, because we had Souptember, we had Crocktober, and then whatever we can do come up with for November. I think it'd be really fun to have something. I'm very nostalgic. I love anything that is handed down, and you know, I have my grandmother's. I have a bowl that belonged to my grandmother. I have some glasses that belong to her. I have things that belong to my husband's grandparents and parents and my parents. I'm very, what do you call it? Sentimental. I'm very sentimental. And it's funny, none of my kids are sentimental. My grandchildren so far are not sentimental. So we'll see. I really like to think back on things like my mom's iron skillet. Who all used that skillet, and what did they cook in it, and how many people did they feed every single day, and how hard did they work? And you know, I love knowing these traditional things. And so I'm going to ask a few, if you have something like that, for you to send it to me. You can email it to me if you want to. The email address is in the description box of most videos, the most recent videos anyway. But it's just Life with Nana, 9757 at Gmail. So if you want to send it to me that way. You could also leave it in a comment if you wanted to do that. So whichever way you want to do it is fine with me. And if we can get that pulled together before November, then we will be working on that in November. So I want to do something special like that because November is here in the States is really around, you know, Thanksgiving and that kind of things. And like I said, I live in my own little bubble. I haven't been outside of the United States. I haven't been very far away from home my whole life. So you'll have to tell me, do you have a day of Thanksgiving where you live? And if you do, what kinds of foods are served there? And send me a recipe, and we will try to make it on the channel. I think that'll be fun. So let's get things moved over here. We have our gravy. I don't think we need the whisk. Now we need a spoon. We have our beans. I need another pot holder. These look absolutely wonderful. You can't see them from I'm sitting. Look at these. These are some that we can together. I love that. It's one reason I love canning so much. All right, so while that bread is finishing up in there, I'm going to go ahead and fix myself a little bit of a plate. A little gravy over each. Isn't that beautiful? All right. Kind of got them jammed in there, but that's okay. This looks fantastic. Let me move all this over out of the way. Now I didn't fix a big plate. Look at that. Let's have a taste. I know this roast is going to be good. Y'all, if you haven't tried this Mississippi roast, and I know most of you have, that is so good. I've also done this same recipe with chicken. That's out of this world too. So good. Have a little bite of potato. Those are good, cooked in the broth like that. I love to do that. The beans are fabulous. These are so hot. Let's have a little bite. These are fantastic. These are so good. I love yeast bread and yeast rolls anyway. So good. Well, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me today as we prepared a really nice Sunday dinner. We used our crock pot, but using our crock pot really saved the day because I didn't have to worry about leaving the house and leaving my stove on. I have done that in the past, but it's better with the crock pot there. All of this is so good. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me as we prepared this. Remember that Nana loves you. Remember I'm so, so proud of you. And remember you always have a friend here. Love y'all. See you on the next one.